Welcome to the Hair Loss Show. Dr. Russell Knudsen and Dr. Vikram Jayaprakash discuss issues relating to hair loss and the medical and surgical treatment of hair loss in both men and women.
Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Russell Knudsen.
And I'm Dr. Vikram Jayaprakash.
And welcome to episode 22 of the Hair Loss Show, where we continue our series of treatments for female pattern hair loss. So in the last episode, which I hope you had a look at, we talked about minoxidil and how there are different ways to use minoxidil and what it does for the hair. Today we're going to talk about laser therapy. So we have to be very specific about what we're talking about here. There are laser devices in the marketplace for hair stimulation. They work through a different pathway to minoxidil, so they can be used in combination. And as we've all found, both of us have found, some of our patients feel that they want to use a non-chemical treatment, and this is a perfect way to do that. So the laser is done at a very specific wavelength, which is in the red light wavelength, so it's a low frequency. And it is also done at low power. So the only thing that really can happen to the scalp is heat.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no dangers to
burning. You shouldn't lose it. You know, you're not lasering the hair off or anything. It's just applying energy at a particular frequency that is going to stimulate the existing hair to grow. That's in essence what you're trying to do.
What it really does is it stimulates energy production inside the cells. Okay, so it's kind of like turbocharging the energy production. That's quite a different pathway to the way a minoxidil works. So this is about re-energizing these weakening hair cells. Now, laser therapy for different kinds of uses, even healing uses, have been around for a long time, but the evidence has only been in the last 5 to 10 years about the significant benefit potentially it plays in stimulating hair. But yes, there are lots of different lasers out in the marketplace, and there are a lot of different opinions about how it should be used. So I think what we're going to try and do is distill it down for you as to what we think is the most effective.
So we're not recommending a particular brand or anything, but what we're saying is that by using laser, it can stimulate the hair. There are very expensive devices where you go to a clinic and they will apply the laser for you. Obviously, compliance is an issue, having to go to somewhere and do it. There are a lot of in-home devices as well. But the key there is, have you got the right frequency? And that's important. Have you got the right number, without getting too technical, the right number of diodes? Because what you want to do is you want to apply it evenly over the entire scalp. You don't want just a bit here and a bit here and a bit here. So it's the devices. The difference in devices will be the number of diodes that they have within the device, and also the frequency that you use it as well. It doesn't need to be used every day. It doesn't need to be used all day, every day. Generally, the recommendation is about 35 to 40 minutes, 3 times a week is what we found is the sweet spot. It's not just us. What the literature has shown is actually what the recommended frequency of using it. Again, you have to use it. If it sits in the cupboard, it's not going to be any help at all, because some of these devices are quite expensive. So it has to be on for a reasonable amount of time. So I am going to say, yes, while we don't recommend a particular device, things like laser comb, you're going to have to be sitting there combing your hair for 35, 40 minutes, which is not going to happen. Not a practical thing. So we quite like these cap devices. And what I'll do is you carry on talking and I'll go grab a cap to demonstrate while we're there.
Okay, so let's talk about cap devices. The thing about a cap device is that it's an in-home use, or even when you're walking the dog, reading a book, cooking a meal, doing whatever it is you want to do. Because it's on a rechargeable battery pack, it allows you the option to be mobile with it as well. So these caps do come with, as Vikram said, with different numbers of laser diodes.
So here we have, so this is like a cap device, and it fits in underneath a baseball cap. But the key to see here is that you've got these multiple diodes inside, and it's attached to a battery pack, and
which is a rechargeable battery pack,
and you just walk around with that, so you can carry on with your day-to-day activities. But while this is taking effect.
All right. So The two key points mentioned so far that I want to talk about, again to reiterate, is that if you're using a CAP device, we want you to use it 3 times a week, and we want you to use it for between 30 and 45 minutes. Now, if you find it heats your head up and you're feeling a bit hot, then switch it off for 5 minutes, take it off, put it back down when your scalp's cooled down and keep going, as long as you get to that 30 to 45 minutes. If you do less than that, you're really not giving yourself a chance to get the full expression of the benefit of it. So those are the 30 to 45 minutes is key, as is 3 times a week is key. And as Vikram said before, if we're not against the idea of you sitting under dome devices in clinics. The problem is you're not going to get the frequency. So I know, for example, in Australia, that the clinics who ask people to come in, ask them to come in once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, because they know they're not going to come in more frequently. Well, I mean, I'm sorry people, that's really not going to do the job. Now, the other thing that is worth understanding about the laser devices in the CAP is that the diodes aren't all the same. Yes, the wavelength is the same. Yes, the power output overall is the same, but the diodes have different effects. So if we're plotting a chart of the different devices up on a scale, some of them are down here and some of them up here. So for example, if you have a device with 80 diodes in it at a low power, it's going to be on this part of the stimulation curve. If you've got a device with over 200 to 300 diodes in it with a higher power coming out of that diode, then you're going to be at the upper end of the level, and that makes a difference as well. So that might sound complicated, but we have plotted the different devices out. We know there's a big variation between them in the amount of energy they, and the amount of laser energy they provide to the hair follicle. So getting some advice on it rather than just buying something off the internet is probably helpful.
I think so. Look, I think there are, if you go and you search online, there are a plethora of devices at various different price points. I think like most things in life, you kind of get what you pay for. Yeah. And I would, again, we don't we have no financial vested interest in any laser device at all, but
shame.
Which, yes, but I think there are better ones on the market than others, and so do your research and find out. Russell, in a ballpark figure, what do you think a decent laser
it's pretty
device?
It's pretty hard to get a decent.
If we're not, we're in Australia, so we're talking about
Australian dollars. In Australia, it's pretty hard to get something under $1,000.
Yes.
Now that might sound like a big investment, but here's the thing. Again, if you go to a good company, they have a good policy. The ones that we tend to use have, for example, a 70% money back guarantee if you don't like it in the first 12 months. Yeah. Parts and labour are guaranteed for 3 years. As other devices are guaranteed for 1 year. So again, like normal consumer things, you need to look for the better quality devices because they are going to provide you with a better quality result. So without spruiking any individual one, I can tell you that if you get advice from people who've had experience with patients, who know what the results are going to be like, you're going to do better. And you can use it in combination with minoxidil or alone, but the science behind it is very good.
Yes, there's good data, but the thing that I don't mean to harp on about it, but sometimes you hear these soul-crushing stories about people who spend a lot of money, buy the device,
and then leave it in the corner.
Yes, and leave it in the corner. So you need to use it and use it regularly, and it's going to be a long-term thing, and that's why these things are designed to be mobile and relatively inconspicuous underneath a baseball cap, but the data is excellent. It can really help if used properly and in combination with other therapies. So hope you find that useful. Is there anything else that we need to add?
Well, again, we encourage you to like and subscribe to our show if you're enjoying the information we're giving you, and we look forward to talking to you next time.
See you next time. Thanks.
Bye.